back to the channel. Paul here from Get Going, heading out again on another adventure. Really loving this time of the year. Autumn in Queensland is probably the best time of the year to be going camping. 22 degrees during the day, about 12 degrees overnight, so it really is just perfect weather. The other reason it's better than spring though is we don't get the wind this time of the year, so get these lovely calm days. You can't see it from the view here, but I'll show you later on. The trees are still absolutely just the smallest amount of wind and breeze. And the other reason it's great is because we tend to get a lot of weekends, long weekends, sorry. So on an Anzac Day long weekend here in Queensland this weekend, which means it's probably going to be a little bit crowded. But I've eyeballed a spot on Gaia Maps that's a little camp area, very basic amenities, so we'll use that as a backup. But there's a whole creek along that area, so I'm going to scout along there and see what I can find as far as a wild camp is concerned, and see if we can jump into there. So current temperature 22 degrees already, which is fantastic. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Bit of a late start, but it's about a two and a half hour drive out to where I'm heading to. On the other side of the ranger, so I'm hoping because of that there might be a bit less people camping out this way. People I'm finding are getting lazier as far as how far they'll travel these days to go camping and so forth, so hoping that'll work to my favour. It's also on the back of a range, so it's around the other side of something, and it's not near anything major as far as places to see or lakes or dams or things like that. So anyway, fingers crossed, and we'll see how that goes. Stopped into a little country town called Woodenbong for lunch for a lovely pie and a coffee. You know you're out in the country when the actual pie is made locally in the actual shop itself, rather than just something they buy from a food van that comes around and delivers once a month. Great pie actually, really nice. Proper steak cut up, nice little bit of gravy in it. So yeah, very enjoyable. A little town called Woodenbong, or Woodenbong, very interesting name. But yeah, very nice, lovely people in there. Ladies behind the counter looked after me very well, heated up a pie for me. So yeah, can't complain. So getting closer to the campsite now, probably about half an hour away I'd suggest. So yeah, decided to keep an eye out for turn-offs, areas where people may not be going camping, rivers, etc. So yeah, just on the scout now. Just pull over here to get some firewood, guys. Often where you end up, there's people that have been camping there before, there's never any timber around, and I don't like taking it out of national parks, so I just pull over the side of the road here of the old dead tree, make some great timber, nice and dry. So we'll cut a few pieces off and throw them in the back, and then I'll make for a nice fire tonight. There's an old saying that says that the person who cuts his own wood gets warmed 3 times. I've got to tell you guys, being a bit out of shape, or a lot out of shape, I think I just got warmed up about 300 times. That hardwood timber, she's hard going, but luckily it will be great for tonight because it does burn for a long time. So just ended up having a couple of pieces before I had a heart attack, and we'll throw those on the fire tonight. Beautiful little creek here, guys. Just pulled up on a little wooden bridge. As you can see, just delightful. So beautiful clear water. So yeah, even here would be a nice spot. We could just literally put a tent just in here, guys. No issue at all. So this is probably going to be my come back to spot. Looks like it's on a main road, but it's not actually. It's a little middle of nowhere. Haven't seen any cars, so that could be our backup at this point in time. There's a, I may not be able to see it, there's a bit of a pond over the back there as well, where it's sort of pushed up a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so we've turned up with the camp spot I was looking for online, guys. Great little camping area. Unfortunately, you do have to book online. Didn't know that before I got here, which is my fault. I should have researched that. I'm talking to a local who lives over the backside over here. Really nice guy, John. He's had a bit of a yuck about the place. Apparently there's a couple of platypus in the ponds down there, so I'll be looking for those later on. But just by sheer luck, was coming back through the camp area, and a couple of rangers were pulled over talking to some of the campers, and I asked them about whether I could just pay on the spot, and they said unfortunately not. But they've put me into a little spot here just at the end of the campsite. This is a little flat area. The creek's down over my shoulder over here, and they said you can just put yourself in there and that's no problem at all, and just make a donation to the National Parks Association who look after the area. So happy to do that. Very happy to have the guys looking after me. It never ceases to amaze me if you do the right thing, you just chat to people. People will always tend to look after you. So blessed as always, guys. So I'm just going to set up camp now, and we'll have a bit of a look around. Just walked around from the campsite to this Woodenbong here. Absolutely beautiful. There's little minor birds having a bit of an evening splash in the afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock. You can see one just up in there. Another one having a bit of a bath. Put themselves up under the branches, clean their feathers back out. A couple of rosellas flying around as well. John did say that there was a platypus in this Woodenbong at one stage. You're not sure whether it was the same one that's moved a bit further down the creek or whether it's just disappeared in this area, but certainly looks like a clean enough water for wildlife to be living in. So yeah, it's interesting to throw a little line in here, maybe down the farther end there, and that little tree sticking out. There might be something in there as far as fishing is concerned. So yeah, we'll give that a bit of a go tomorrow, or maybe even this evening, and see how we go. But certainly an absolutely beautiful spot in the afternoon. Just on 4 o'clock in the afternoon, guys, just getting the fire going. Probably hear the birds in the background. Absolutely great time of the night. So, found myself a great little spot as it turns out. Believe in the fate of the gods will always look after you, they say. Sorry, just watching, distracted by birds there flying through my campsite, rosellas and so forth. So you all get themselves settled in for the evening, a bit of food before they sleep. So yeah, just looking forward to a quiet night around the campfire tonight. Turned up much better than I expected because I was down with the other campers there. Probably be a bit noisy later in the evening, to be honest. They'll be all getting into it together, so which is fine, but myself I prefer something quieter, so just going to sit back here now and enjoy a quiet beer, take in the evening sounds and sights. The sights of the sun going through the trees here is absolutely beautiful, so I'll have a quick beer and then I might take a bit of footage of that because it's just a beautiful time of the night, the light coming through. And yeah, we'll put on some dinner, having a bit of a steak tonight, something different tonight, so looking forward to having that, I must admit. And yeah, we'll talk to you a bit later on. So for tonight's dinner we're going to have a steak and veggies, bit of broccolini, nice bit of potato. We'll cook up into a bit of chips in the frying pan. Got a nice bit of steak here. I've already added some salt to that, so we'll chuck some pepper on. I'm just going to let that warm up while the fire gets worked out. Coals are looking pretty good, so another 5 or 10 minutes we'll be ready to cook this on the coals that we prepared earlier. So the charcoal's already looking really good, so just made about another, as I say, about another 5 minutes. It's 25 past 6 now, so about 25 past 5 I should say. So about another 5 minutes, we'll pull those coals under, get the frying pan fired up, we'll get some dinner going. Looking forward to it. Okay, just got the steak on now. The chips have worked out an absolute treat. Just going to let that cook through, medium rare hopefully, and we'll see what it turns out like. Okay, let's see how this bad boy turned out. Certainly sounds the part. Just warm the chips back up. That looks pretty good, guys. Let's see how it looks on the inside. That is perfect. Just add a bit more salt to these chips. We'll add this broccolini. And we are set for dinner. Looks pretty good, guys. Okay, let's see what this tastes like, shall we? Always the way when you're trying to film, isn't it? Smoke comes across. That is very, very good. Talking myself up, I know, but guys, that just tastes delicious. I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll be back soon. Absolutely fat and full, I gotta tell you. Just sitting here enjoying the fire now, guys. Something about getting out in the mountains, I don't know what it is yet, and I still haven't put my finger on it. Listening to a guy called Jason from, what's the name of his channel now? Primal Outdoors, and he was saying about one of the things he loves is the wide open spaces. I think that's a big part of it. It's just getting out and away from your neighbourhood, the noise of the city. The street noise, the noise of city lights, so that you can see the stars, etc. Just the absolute silence, and just something magical about it. And I don't know why it is in this day and age, but fires still is just so attractive thing. To be able to make your own fire, there's something primal about that as well, I think. And it's just certainly something I've always enjoyed. I was lucky enough to grow up with a father who could teach me how to light a fire and make a fire successfully. So very blessed from that point of view. So with this big fat stomach of mine, I'm just going to sit here and relax now, guys, and enjoy this beer. Got some Tim Tams with me tonight, which I will enjoy as well. So I'll have that later on with a cup of tea and have an early night. There's a waterfall here just over behind me down the creek. I saw a sign for that today when I was out looking around doing some filming. So it'll be interesting to look at that in the morning. The sun comes up over this direction. The river's down here beside me. You can't see this time of the night, obviously. But the sun comes up over this way, so it'd be interesting to go down and have a look at the falls first thing in the morning. I'll get some shots around the creek first thing. So I'll get up about 5:30. Sunrise is about 6 AM. Get up at 5:30 and make a coffee, and then head down and do some footage down there. So it'd be interesting to see what the river looks like that time of the day, and also these waterfalls. Now it might be the wrong light for the waterfalls, so we'll find out when we get down there. But there's something special about that golden light in the morning. It's like sunset. It's just something magical about it. The colours are just sensational. So yeah, so that's the plan for tomorrow. We'll get some footage in the morning, and then slowly pack up camp, head back. Might look to go a different way this time. Once again, one of the things I always like to do when I'm leaving or going home again is to do some scouting, just to see what's available, what other areas I can look at. So sort of becomes a dual trip from that point of view. Find yourself a lovely place to camp and then look for the next camp spot on the way home. So I'll do that tomorrow, go home a different way. I went through Downing today once again, so we'll skip that altogether and go back around another way, which I'll show you on the map later on if you like, just to get some ideas of other places I can camp. This one is certainly a special little spot. Very, very happy with this one. Busy, but even on a long weekend it's not that busy, so I can imagine on a normal quiet weekend in the middle of winter it's going to be pretty quiet. So definitely one I want to come back to without a doubt. And yeah, so just going to enjoy this beer, and I will see you all in the morning. guys. Just on 7:15, got up at 6 o'clock. Sun's just starting to lick the trees behind me. Not sure if you can see it coming up through the trees there. Very cool morning, lots of fog, which is lovely, very misty. So on the first coffee for the day. Go for a wander down to the falls first. I'll come back and have some breakfast once it's warmed up here. These coals burned down. A bit of bacon and eggs. The rest of the camp's pretty quiet from what I can hear. Pretty quiet last night, which was good. So that was great. Got plenty of sleep, which was wonderful. So just going to enjoy this coffee now. And yeah, have a look at these falls. Okay guys, bacon and egg roll for breakfast. Cooking up the bacon now. Can't beat the smell and sizzle of bacon in the morning. Well guys, I'm just going to have this roll, have my breakfast. As you can probably see, I pushed the fire out now, so let that go out. Now it's 20 to 9, so the sun's just drying out the tent, which is great. So I'll pack up over the next half an hour or so after I've had breakfast. Get back on the road. The footage of the waterfall looks pretty good. Lighting wasn't too bad. So we'll see how that turns out when we get back to the editing suite. But for now, I'm going to just sign off here. And as I said, we'll do a bit of exploring on the way back. And if I find any places I think that look good, I'll give you guys a bit of a look as I go along. Okay, 10 AM out at camp, which I'm pretty happy with. Just have a look at Gaia maps. I'm going to go due west out to Killarney, back around through Warwick, back home that way. A few little off tracks on the sides that I'll have a look at as well. The great thing about Gaia is with the topographical maps you do see a lot more of these little dirt roads, which is fantastic. Just pull over there and have a look, talk to a couple of adventure bikies, whatever you want to call them. ADV guys, 3 of them, really well kitted out actually, just on light bikes, which my brother would be pretty impressed with, and travelling pretty light. So as I said guys, just heading out now. It's 10 AM, 10 past 10 actually, so yeah, we'll see what we can find on the way home. Just crossed the border back into Queensland guys, coming into a beautiful little valley here, just on the Southern Darling Downs as they call it. Beautiful part of the countryside. I haven't been out this way myself before. I can see already that it's a place I need to come back to. Whether you've got mountains and valleys, there's got to be a great camp spot. So really glad I came this way now. So I'm just going to keep my eye out on Gaia for any little tracks going off towards rivers or creeks. You can see a little valley down there in front of us now. There's got to be something down that way, you would have thought. So yeah, just keep on going down this road towards Killarney. We're about 10 kilometres out of Killarney now, so won't be far to there, but we'll pull over there and have maybe a bit of bite to eat, have a coffee, and we may wrap the video up at that point in time. We'll see how we go. So guys, got to Killarney, had a coffee and a cake, and I looked at a road that I went past on the way into Killarney that had a description about going to some falls, and I thought that might be interesting. So I jumped on the Gaia as I was having a coffee and had a look, and there's a whole stream of waterfalls out on this particular road. But the best part is that probably the second half of it turns into dirt roads, which is always a magnet for me. So just going to shoot up here now and have a look and see what we can see. There's quite a few waterfalls up this way, so obviously it's a much bigger river than most, so it'll be very interesting to see what they look like, and I'll take you along for the ride. beautiful big tall stand of trees here, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Something about old growth forests, big tall gums. Magical part of the world. Really glad I took this route. The Queen Mary Falls were absolutely flat out. There's about 1 million people there, mainly because there's a caravan park and a cafe. That's alright, we've still got a little bit of footage there. And apparently there's another 2 or 3 sets of falls up through the valley here, so we'll pull into those as well and have a look. Hopefully they won't be quite as crowded, and we'll be able to share some of that footage with you. Unfortunately, guys, the rest of the waterfalls were far too crowded, including Chavoit Falls. So I've ended up just cruising down through the valley here, looking for other places to camp instead. So look, it's probably an area I'll come back to later on just to see these waterfalls when it's a bit quieter, when it's not a long weekend, and get a bit of footage then of those sort of places. But yeah, certainly a beautiful part of the world. Off the side of the road here, guys, another little creek. Unfortunately, there's no real fun areas to camp in this one, so it's a nice little spot. Beautiful clean water coming through here. There's no opportunities of a place to put down a tent. Too many trees, too many rocks. It's a little bit too rugged. So guys, just going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you all for coming along for the ride as usual. Really appreciate you all supporting me, as I've said before, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.